Best travel tip to save money.
I don't know, Joe. I'm not a savvy traveler. I'm just not.
Come on, I got to give you something. Nothing. Flexible.
I'm trying to learn about this in the next podcast.
All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn from an expert. That's coming up. I'm Joe Ducey with the Better Business Bureau, and this is Joe Knows Better. So I'm here with Michelle Marin, who is the Director of Operations at the BBB, as usual. Glad to see you.
Thank you, Joe.
Talk about one of your favorite subjects and mine, right?
Travel.
Yeah.
Love traveling.
Joining us is Sally French, who is a travel expert, podcaster, writer, guru at NerdWallet. And NerdWallet is
that's right.
Yeah, BBB accredited business. Thank you for that. NerdWallet's great with all kinds of saving money ideas for all kinds of consumerism, and travel is one of them. And we're big into that. So, Sally, thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm big into travel too, so I'm excited we get to talk about this.
Yeah, you got the podcast. We've been listening to them, and we've been looking at the articles and all. And yeah, we have a lot of questions for you, but I think we're going to start with something general.
Yeah. So
okay.
It sounds like you get a lot of feedback from consumers on what is going on, what are they asking. And so I just wanted to ask, what are people asking right now? What are they going to the experts for?
Yeah, one of the things that we really see is a lot of people who just say, why is everything, and in particular, why is travel so expensive? Now, this becomes a really interesting question when you consider that actually looking at the big picture, especially with airfares have never been cheaper. We do see increases here and there, but on the whole, looking at that wide scale, airfares are down more than 6% over the past 10 years.
Really?
It's cheaper now to fly than it was 10 years ago, when it feels like everything is so expensive. So one of our biggest challenges is grappling with, why does it feel so expensive? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes there are people who really are overpaying. The trick is that there are many ways that you can save money, especially on airfare. And that's really something that NerdWallet wants to eliminate.
Go there.
Yes.
How do you save on airfare?
Wow.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I think leads into why airfare feels so expensive is, one, people do have an expectation, especially in 2020, airfares got really, really cheap. And a lot of people got used to that. And they said, in 2020, I saw airfare deals for $39 flights. Why do I not see those now? That is one. And you do have to take a step back and look at what they were over that broader scale. The second thing is that we are seeing an enormous unbundling in airfares. This is where airlines will actually offer lower base prices, which is what we are tracking, but increasingly airlines are charging more for all these little things, things like free checked bags,
right,
fees to choose your seat, fees to board early.
Yeah,
and
Southwest
there
now.
are ways that, yes, even Southwest does that. They famously had 2 free checked bags, and that now is no longer the case. But there are ways where if you do need those things, you can get those cheaper. One of the best ways to avoid checked bag fees is applying for an airline credit card. Most, not all, so check the benefits of your specific airline credit card, but most airline credit cards will actually allow you to check bags for free simply by holding that airline credit card. Now, sometimes these airline credit cards will have an annual fee around $100, but you figure 2 round-trip flights, sometimes that more than pays for it. Checked bag fees are $40. So you fly 2 round trips, and that can easily outweigh that. Other things like paying to select your seat, a lot of people falsely assume that if they don't pay to select their seat, they somehow won't have a ticket. That's also not true. Those fees to select their seat are to ensure that you get the coveted aisle seat.
Yeah.
So
if you don't mind
if you don't pay to select their seat, right, exactly. But you know what? Someone had to sit in the middle anyway. So if you're willing to not pay, then you will have a seat. You just will probably have that middle seat.
I think you're right, though. I think people thought that if I don't pick a seat, I'm not going to get there. But you've already have your ticket. You're getting on the plane somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly right. A lot of pressure to feel like I need to board early. I travel at least 4 times a month, and I always want to be the last person on the plane. I see early boarding as a negative. I don't want to be on that plane longer than I need to. So These are all things that I really don't think you necessarily need to pay for. It's a matter of understanding which ones you do need to pay for And NerdWallet and our Smart Travel podcast is all about helping you do that.
Are there still days of the week that are better to book travel? I know with Southwest it used to be maybe Tuesdays and Saturdays possibly to go to travel. I don't know if that's still the case. Or also, is it better to book far in advance? And I guess airlines still allow you to rebook, right, and get the better deal if it comes up?
Those are all great questions. So one of the things about wondering which day of the week I should book, that's actually a myth, and it stems from back when we had actual paper tickets and people were hand delivering these tickets and they would come on a specific day. Wow. Now we have the internet and there's no specific best day to book. Airlines just have their tickets always. So don't worry about, I need to be free on Sunday night to book airfare because someone told me that Sunday is the best time to book airfare or something like that. There is no best time specifically to book airfare within a week-by-week basis. There is, though, a best time to fly. And so if you can fly out, typically Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays are the cheapest days to actually fly. So it doesn't matter which day you book the airfare. It matters which day you book the airfare for. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, that's typically Tuesday, Wednesday. You're not getting those business travelers who mostly are flying Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. You're also Friday, Sunday seeing those weekend travelers. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday really avoids that sweet spot of everyone wanting to book travel. Of course, each travel flight route varies by destination. So you do see a place like Vegas really gets hit with that inbound Friday, outbound Sunday because you have so many weekend travelers going to a place like Las Vegas. But the trends can change depending on what city you're going to. Some airlines might not even offer a route on Tuesday or Wednesday. So maybe that's not possible. So do check by city. And then you asked about how far actually out to book. That is also where the bread and butter of saving money really matters. So with most domestic flights, we see the sweet spot to book between 1 to 3 months out. For international travel, it's 2 to 8 months out. And the reason being is if you book way too early, airlines actually want to capitalize on those eager beavers. People who are planning that European vacation for next year and they're just so excited to lock it in and book now, and because they want to book their cruise or whatever. So airlines will charge more far in advance. Then between that 2 to 8 months for international or 1 to 3 month window for domestic, that's when they really have a sense of who is actually traveling, and they typically bring down their airfares from there. Then if you're booking last minute, a lot of people say, airfares are expensive now, so I'm just going to hold off, hope they get lower. That is rarely the case. Airlines rarely offer last minute deals simply because if you're someone who's booking a flight for tomorrow, it's probably because it's an emergency and you'll pay whatever you need to go. It's also typically because it's business travelers who are typically not sensitive to pricing either. And so airlines are ready to capitalize on those people. They would rather have empty seats than sell them at a discount.
Let me ask you about points. Two things. One, cards that offer the best points for the amount you're paying for the card, right? And also, when is it more valuable to use points on a flight rather than cash? I mean, what is the cash value of points? Can you figure that out? I mean, I fly Southwest a lot. I look at 8,000, maybe 6,000 to 8,000 points, equal a certain amount of dollars, So I'm trying to figure that out. What would you say to that?
Yes, so I'll start with your second question, which is, what are points worth? And points are their own currencies, and each airline's point is its own currency. So just like you would go abroad and pesos is different than a Vietnamese dong, is different than a euro, every airline point is very similar in that they are all different prices. NerdWallet does the work for you, and we tell you what we believe those points are worth.
Oh, really?
And NerdWallet does that by analyzing thousands of points to cash pricing to understand what points are actually worth. I would say typically, if you're really not sure, 1 cent per point is sort of a good average, but with some airlines, it could be 0.7. With some airlines, it could be 1.2. So go to NerdWallet, and we actually have these calculators where you can say, this flight is going to cost me 40,000 miles. how much money do you think that is?
Yeah.
It might be $400, but depending on the airline program, that could be $300 or $500. So that's one way that you can know.
That's great.
You also asked about airline credit cards and which one is the best, which one earns the most miles. And these, again, can be tricky because you'll have some airline credit cards that earn 8 points per dollar spent on that airline, and some will earn 10 points per dollar spent on that airline. But then again, you go back to, well, is the card that offers 10 points, are their points less valuable? So again, that's where NerdWallet can help you out. Typically, though, there is no one best credit card. There are so many factors that go into this. So some of the factors are your own spending. You'll see some credit cards offer bonus points on groceries and dining out. And if you have a bunch of hungry people in your family, then those cards can be worth it. Other cards offer bonus points on gym memberships, which could be worth it. But there's also people who don't have gym memberships, in which case that's not. You also want to consider, does that card earn points and miles in a specific airline or hotel program, or does it earn more general points and miles? So a specific airline credit card might be a Southwest or United credit card, where all you're spending on that card only earns you United miles or only earns you Southwest Rapid Rewards points. On the flip side, you have airline or you have credit cards that offer more general points and miles. Right. These are things like Chase Ultimate Rewards points, American Express membership rewards points, Capital One Venture miles. Yeah. And these are often something that I prefer to hold because with these are more flexible. So these banks have their own portals where you can spend your points within those portals. These banks also partner with numerous airlines and hotels where you can transfer your points or miles to those programs. Oh. So if you have, let's say, Chase, and they partner with United and Hyatt and Southwest and many other travel partners, I won't name them all. Mm-hmm. What's really nice is sometimes I'm flying United, so I can transfer my Chase points to United, but sometimes I'm flying Southwest because there is no United flight to that airport, in which case I might be able to transfer my Chase points to Southwest. So I actually find those to be much more flexible, and flexible is valuable rather than being locked into one airline. So an airline-specific credit card can make sense if you only fly that airline. Maybe you fly the same route for your business trips every quarter, and it's just the same airline, same airport, always same thing. Then maybe having that branded credit card can make sense to a specific airline. But I actually think for most people, having a most general travel credit card just gives you more flexibility.
Let's have a flash round. Let's do it a couple. We're going to throw a bunch of questions quickly, and we'll just have a few quick answers here. All right. Universal or Disneyland? Go.
Oh, my God. Well, I would have said Disneyland, but I went to Epic Universe at Universal, and that might have changed my mind.
Oh, really?
Really?
Pretty nice. Okay. All right, I'm sure there are deals on that too, but I know they could go to NerdWallet and probably. Did you write? I think there was an article you wrote about that or a podcast.
Well, Disneyland has released many good deals. They this summer are having $50 kids tickets on certain tickets. Okay. And if you are a California resident, they are offering amazing deals coming out to less than $100 per day with a multi-pack ticket there.
All right. How do you know if a premium ticket or premium travel card is worth it? You went over that a little bit already, but they have the lounges that look so great. Every time I go by them and I see a buffet or I see, alcohol or whatever it is, and they're waiting, is it worth it? And how much is there a cheap card you can actually get and have the lounge?
Yes. So I will say cheap is expensive, and the higher the annual fee, the better the lounges that you have access to. So there are some credit cards that have lower annual fees, which have lounge access, but many people have that lounge access, and if everybody's special, then nobody's special. So definitely the higher the tier the credit card, typically the higher quality the lounge. I was just at the new Chase Lounge in Las Vegas, which if you hold the Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card, you have access if you have a same-day boarding pass. Yeah. There are other credit cards that offer priority pass. Yeah. Yes, right? Exactly. Yes, you can get a taste of that if you have a credit card with priority pass access. You get one Chase Lounge visit per year if you have priority pass. And many credit cards offer priority pass as a benefit. NerdWallet's got a list of cards that have priority pass on its website, so check those out.
How about one quick one for me again is foreign travel. A lot of people want to go to Italy, Greece, places that are very expensive, France. Where can you go and get a deal still? I mean, I've heard about Vietnam. I don't know if those are places that you cover that, but are there places you could still go and get a great experience but not pay as much?
I love Southeast Asia. I'm so glad you mentioned Vietnam. Thailand, also another great one. That is a place where you can go and you can get affordable food. You can get affordable hotels. A lot of people get seduced by where to go based on the flight deal, but the flight is often a small part of your overall vacation budget if you're someone who likes to dine out. If you're staying many days, staying for those hotels. So we are seeing 5-star hotels in places like Vietnam and Thailand for less than $100 a night. Wow. So don't overlook Southeast Asia. But one thing, if you're not sure where to go, is NerdWallet loves Google Flights. Google Flights is an amazing tool. They have an Explore tool, so you can punch in your home airport and you press Explore, and it will tell you where cheap flights are all around the world. The reality is there is no cheapest airport. There are just cheaper routes, and it really matters if your airport is running flights to that airport, then you'll find a cheaper route. So sometimes the flight between San Francisco to London could be really expensive, but the flight from Los Angeles to London could be really cheap. And you wouldn't think of those as being that far away. Why would the price difference matter? But it might just be because there's a certain airline that flies a route between Los Angeles and London that isn't serving San Francisco. So use Google Flights and look for deals from your airport. You just punch in your home airport. You can punch in a month you want to go, if you want to go for this spring or this summer, and it will display cheap flight deals all around the world.
Oh, I love that. Well, because I was going to ask, there's obviously a lot of people on a tight budget right now, but they still want to take their kids on a vacation or take the spouse on a vacation. And so that was going to be my selfish next question, was just what can people do when they're working on a tight budget? So that's a great tip. If you want to go somewhere, you don't necessarily have a destination point that you're adamant about, but want to save maybe a little money and still get out of the house. Is there any other tips that you have for people who are looking to, travel but have a tight budget, and maybe the credit card isn't the option that they're able to take, right? Is there another thing outside of that credit card or points or anything like that that people should consider?
That's good.
Yeah, what you mentioned kind of alludes to NerdWallet's number one tip for saving money on travel, and that is flexibility. The more locked in you are to a specific airport and to a specific date, the more you limit yourself on what price you're going to have to pay. If you can be open-minded to that destination, again, use that Google Flights tool. You might say, yes, I do want to go to Europe this summer, but I don't particularly care whether I go to France or Germany or Italy. Use that Google Flights tool and choose the one that has the cheapest flight. Similarly, the more locked in you are to dates also is going to limit yourself. You would be shocked. Sometimes adjusting your flight dates by 1 or 2 days can amount to hundreds of dollars in savings. Wow. So even though you might extend your trip by 1 day, you might have to pay extra for the hotel, but you got a longer trip. And then you also are saving hundreds of dollars on the airfare, especially when you couple that for your whole family.
Sure.
Again, Google Flights is another great tool. I keep harping on it, but they have a calendar feature, and it will actually show you maybe flights leaving on Tuesday are $600, but flights leaving on Thursday are $300. Can you just fly out on Thursday instead of Tuesday? You might save hundreds of dollars that way.
I think it's great. Yeah, I think we got a lot from you, Sally, and that time went fast. I don't know if there's one last thing you want to say. I think you probably said the biggest, Google Flights, we got that, and being flexible. Those are two of the biggest things right now, right?
Yes, and the last thing I will say is do not sleep on your credit card points. For one, a lot of people don't even realize that they might have credit card points. Some people don't even check these things. So go into your account, see what you have. And secondly, NerdWallet does not encourage saving points. We love saving money. We love investing money. But points are not something that you can invest. They don't accrue interest. In fact, they devalue. And NerdWallet continuously sees that. I mentioned that we track point values across every single major airline program. And we have recently seen many airlines have devalued their points. So what a point last year might have been worth 1.2 cents each, this year it might be worth 0.9 cents each. So you saving your points is actually costing you money. So unless you have a specific redemption you're waiting for, NerdWallet recommends go ahead, spend that down. There is often this mentality of, I'm going to save all my points over the next 10 years and book this first class trip to South Africa for my safari. When you have all these little flights in between for the weddings, for the soccer games, for the graduations, and people often take cash for those because those aren't fun trips that they don't want to save their money for, I highly encourage spending those points down now. Save your cash, and then when it comes to that South Africa safari 20 years from now, you have more cash saved up, and that gives you more flexibility.
That makes sense.
That's great. All right, Sally, hey, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Sally French is a travel expert and writer and podcaster with NerdWallet. You go to nerdwallet.com, and you can find all kinds of things, and I think you can get access to your information there, I would guess, as well, or just search Sally online, Sally French.
And that's exactly right. And do subscribe to the Smart Travel Podcast if you want to hear me talk some more.
There you go. All right, and that too. NerdWallet's a BBB accredited business, and we thank you for that. And also, people, BBB.org is a good place to go for travel services, just for check reviews and complaints and those kinds of things. So, Sally, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.